Hi everyone, welcome to another crochet tutorial with me, Laura, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make these adorable strawberry chains using the puff stitch. I'm using a DK light worsted weight yarn in a green and a pink, or you can use a red colour obviously for strawberries, and with that I'm using a 3.5mm E4 crochet hook. So let's begin, shall we? So we're going to start off with the green, and we're just going to make a slip knot and make a chain 4 loop. So work a little slip knot, and then chain 4. So chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to put our hook into our first chain, bring the yarn through the first chain and through the loop on your hook. And then we're going to do a little chain 1, don't count that as a stitch or anything, just for leverage. And we're going to work some puff stitches into this chain 4 loop. So to do that, we're going to bring up a little loop, so sort of about just under an inch in height, yarn over, place your hook into the center of this loop, be careful not to put it in your first chain, bring the yarn through, and then bring that up to meet the other loop, like so. So you've got 3 loops on your hook. Do that twice more, yarn over into the center, bring up a loop, once more, yarn over into the center, bring up a loop. Okay, then we're going to yarn over, pull through all those loops, helps to turn your hook downwards, and then secure with a chain 1. Okay, and we're going to do that 4 more times. We end up with 5 of these puff stitches. Okay, so we start off by yarning over, back into that center loop, bring up a loop, do that twice more, yarn over, bring up a loop, once more, yarn over, bring up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all those loops and the chain 1, and then again secure with a chain 1. Okay, that's your second puff stitch. Do that 3 more times. So you yarn over to begin, place your hook into the loop, and then bring up a loop. Do that twice more, yarn over, bring up a loop, yarn over, bring up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through all those loops, give it a little wiggle, and then come through the chain 1 as well. Then secure with a chain 1. Okay, so do that twice more until you've got 5 of these puff stitches. And secure with a chain 1. Okay, so you've got something that hopefully looks like this. And now we're going to join our pink yarn. So let's get our pink. And we're going to join that in a little chain 1. You can either do that in the previous chain 1 or just do a fresh one. It's okay. Then turn your work, and we're going to slip stitch into that first chain 1 space. So in between those puff stitches, we're just going to slip stitch. Okay, and you can use this opportunity to just pull your ends so it's nice and secure. Then again, holding onto that tail, bring up a loop, again just under an inch in height, yarn over into the same chain 1 space, bring up a loop, and do that twice more. Yarn over, bring up a loop, yarn over, bring up a loop. Then yarn over, pull through all those loops and chain 1. I'm going to do that in the other remaining 3 chain 1 spaces. So we yarn over, find the next chain 1 space in between our puff stitches, bring up a loop, do that twice more. Sorry if you can hear a chainsaw in the background, it's my neighbour. Yarn over, pull through all those loops, secure with a chain 1. Okay, do that in the next chain 1 space, yarn over into the chain 1 space, bring up a loop, do that twice more, yarn over, bring up a loop, yarn over, bring up a loop, pull through all loops and that chain 1 and secure with a chain 1. Do that one more time. In the last chain 1 space, should have one more. Bring up a loop, yarn over, bring up a loop, once more, yarn over, bring up a loop. Pull through all loops and secure with a chain 1. Okay, so you should have 4 puff stitches now. Then we're going to turn our work and slip stitch into that first chain 1 space. And do the same thing again. We're going to bring up a loop first, then yarn over into the chain 1 space, bring up a loop, do that twice more. Pull through all loops, secure with a chain 1. And do that in the next 2 chain 1 spaces, so yarn over into loop, bring up a loop, do that twice more. Pull through all loops, secure with a chain 1. Do that once more, yarn over into the last chain 1 space, bring up a loop, do that twice more. Pull through all loops and secure with a chain 1. So this time we got 3 puff stitches. Turn your work and slip stitch into the first chain 1 space and do the same thing again. We're going to bring up a loop at the beginning, yarn over into the chain 1 space, bring up a loop, do that twice more. Pull through all loops, secure with a chain 1. And you should have one more chain 1 space, so go into there, yarn over into there, bring up a loop, do that twice more. Pull through all loops and secure with a chain 1. And there we go, that is our first little strawberry or raspberry, and we're then going to turn it into a chain. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our work and we are going to rejoin. So you can either cut your yarn or just carry it, but I'm just going to carry mine, keeping it loose. I'm going to place my hook into this chain 1 space and then just grab the green, bring it through the chain 1 space and through the loop on my hook. Then making sure it's not distorting like this, making sure it's nice and flat. Pull that pink tail end down. And now we're working with the green. And we're going to do what we did at the beginning here. So being careful, just bring up a loop, yarn over, go back into the chain 1 space, bring up a loop and do that twice more to create another puff stitch. Pull through all loops, secure with a chain 1, and we're going to do that 4 more times. So we've got 5 like at the beginning here. So yarn over, back into the same chain 1 space, bring up a loop, do that twice more. Pull through all loops and secure with a chain 1. I'm going to do that 3 more times. Okay, so when you've got 5 puff stitches all in that 1 chain space, we're going to rejoin our pink yarn. So we're going to drop the green and rejoin the pink and bring that into through your loop, the little chain 1. Again, making sure not to distort your project. Pull the green down and turn, and we're going to slip stitch into that first chain 1 space and bring up a loop and just continue again. So we're going to yarn over into that loop, bring up a loop and do that twice more. Pull through all loops, chain 1, and do that in the remaining 3 chain 1 spaces. So we yarn over into the next chain 1 space, bring up a loop, do that twice more. pull through all loops, chain 1, do that twice more, yarn over into the next chain 1 space, bring up a loop, do that twice more. And then in the very last chain 1 space, yarn over, bring up a loop, do that twice more. Pull through all loops, chain 1 and turn. Then we slip stitch into the first chain 1 space and bring up a loop to begin. So then we yarn over into the loop, bring up a loop, into the chain 1 space and bring up a loop and do that twice more. So you should have got the hang of this pattern by now, hopefully. Chain 1 and do that in the remaining 2 chain 1 spaces. So yarn over, bring up a loop, do that twice more. And then chain 1 to secure and work a puff stitch into the last chain 1 space. Okay, and then we chain 1 and turn, slip stitch into the first chain 1 space, bring up a loop. So we always bring up a loop at the very beginning, yarn over into the same chain 1 space, bring up a loop, do that twice more. Pull through all loops, secure with a chain 1 and yarn over and work another puff stitch into the last chain 1 space. So you should have just 2 on this row. And then secure with a chain 1. And there we go, that is our second strawberry or raspberry chain finished. So as you can see, you've got, because you've carried the yarn, you'll have some yarn here. So you may want to just cut and rejoin, it's entirely up to you, but the other side should be nice and clear. And then we'll just start our next little fruit, our little berries. So what we're going to do is turn our work and then place our hook into the only chain 1 space and rejoin the green. And we do the same thing again, bring that through the chain 1 space, through the loop on your hook, make sure your project is not distorted, pull your tail ends, and then working with the green, we bring up a loop, yarn over into the chain 1 space, bring up a loop, and do that twice more. 1 and 2. Secure, pull through all loops, secure with a chain 1, and we repeat that 4 more times, and we repeat and repeat until we have as many little strawberry berries as we like. So let's do that and create a few more little berries, shall we? So 4 more puff stitches. Once you've got your 5 green puff stitches, we rejoin our pink in a little chain 1, and then we turn our work and we slip stitch into that first chain 1 space. Bring up a loop, and then we create 4 puff stitches in all the chain 1 spaces. go. You just chain one and turn, and there is our next little strawberry or a raspberry chain created. So there we go, and then we would just go back to joining the green, working the 5 puff stitches in that 1 chain space. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I hope you managed to follow along, and join me soon for some more crochet crafting fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.